sharing what you think of this episode and any insights you have. It would be great to give you a voice and for other people to read it and learn from each other. Then there is fatty foods. So fatty foods have been linked to shame. When someone overindulges in the oil, they're giving into their internal shame. They're not feeling good enough. They're feeling that they are embarrassing or not how they want to be. And so they cover themselves with layers of fat. They cover themselves with food that is dripping in oil because they want to feel safe. They want to protect others away from them. They want to give a sense of a barrier. And sometimes this is really the saddest thing. I've worked with so many people who are obese, and the obesity is formed because of a lack of safety earlier on in life, or a lack of safety in a relationship, or an accident or an incident where they didn't feel safe, and then they're using the excess weight to protect themselves or to look unattractive or to hide. And, you know, I really believe that people really need love in these situations. It's an emotional problem and they need love. Just like if you saw somebody with 2 broken legs in a wheelchair, they need love. And so do people who are obese. So let's look at food and the mind. As well as certain foods being linked to specific emotions, there are negative internal messages we are sending ourselves when we are eating particular things. So in relation to what I've just shared, let me just connect a few of them for you and see how you can notice the mind and food connection. So when we're eating for crunchy foods, for anger, it can create more troubled thoughts for us. It can make us be more aware of our anger because we're not actually dealing with it. So sometimes people can be really sat in their anger. Salty foods can also mean the fear of being different. So when we eat salty foods, it can often be linked to specific emotions. So we're eating the food and then we can actually feel different. This is what studies have shown. So the reverse, when we eat these foods, it can create that emotion. So eating crunchy foods can create more anger, for example. And then there's high gluten or high wheat products. And this can often symbol that to ourselves, we cannot rely on the world. We can only rely on ourselves. So when we comfort eat, the message that we're giving ourselves is, the world is scary. The world isn't safe. I do need to worry. No one can provide me with comfort and love. Food can. When we use sugar and we're using sugar to be our happiness, using sugar to be our fun, our excitement, our sodas, the message we're giving ourselves is, I don't deserve to have fun. I don't deserve to have happiness, because we're using food instead of actually going out and creating more happiness in our lives. And that's something I love to do when I work with somebody, whether it's a couple in a marriage, whether it's an individual, looking at how we can create more excitement, more fun, more passion into their lives. It's not about, right, you're going to go and eat this now, or you're going to change and eat this. It's all about how to live your best life, how to be happy with yourself, and then create healthy, happy relationships. And then there's dairy and ice cream. So when we just use ice cream and dairy as love, we're showing to ourselves that no one's going to love me the way I need to be loved. No one loves me. Food loves me. I'm getting my love from food. And sometimes, if you've ever stayed in to be with food, which I did countless times over years and years, turning down invitations to go to parties because I wanted to stay in and eat a certain food, it really has this grip on you. So it's really important to just assess, what am I really feeling here? What is the emotion? And just really feel your emotions. Put the food away and feel them. And also I like to ask myself, what would you get off your couch for? I was going to say something else then, but what would you get off the couch for and drive at 10 o'clock at night to go and get? I have done that with cereals. I've done that with cheese. I've done that with sweets and cake ingredients and bread. What are your foods that you have literally late at night gone and got? Or what have you thought about in panic that you might be running out of? and then you'll go and buy a massive bulk load of it so that you don't run out. Is anyone else out there as crazy as me? And really, when I looked at my emotions, it was my emotions that were driving it. So looking at using food to distract me from what was really going on in my life. And then there is chocolate. Sometimes eating chocolate for sexual needs and sexual desires can be a sign that you're feeling or thinking that sensuality is bad, see it being sexual is bad for you. So you go for the chocolate instead. And by all of these is obviously excessive. And if you share it with your partner, then of course that's different. But if you're eating it by yourself in secret, that's what it can mean. And then there's alcohol. So when we use alcohol to be ourselves, when we use alcohol to socialise with others, to go on a date, to get us in the mood for intimacy, sometimes we're sharing with ourselves that I can't be my true self because no one will accept me for who I am. And therefore, we are being something else. And then there is corn. So if we don't feel very successful, according to experts, this one is basically saying that I'm not a successful individual. I'm a failure. So if you're addicted to like popcorn or corn syrup products or corn on the cob, it's not feeling successful as an individual. And then there's fatty foods. So if you have an over addiction to fatty foods, this is really about you're feeling ashamed of yourself. You're feeling that you don't deserve anything good in your life. Obviously that's a generalization, but you don't deserve good. You don't perhaps deserve happiness or love. Now you may identify with this, or you may think that this is really dark and deep, but some of these things can be happening on a subconscious level, as in you're not really aware of them. So whenever I do work with somebody, I often combine the unconscious processes. So it's good to look at what is really happening and what are you really feeling, and not just working with your conscious mind, but the unconscious mind. I was reading a leaflet on hypnotherapy the other day, because obviously I do a lot of hypnotherapy, and new research has shown that the unconscious mind is 6,000 times more powerful than the conscious mind. And it drives our lives because it's 6,000 times more powerful. So are you driven by your subconscious mind, or are you driven by your conscious mind? Who is in charge in your life right now? And what are you doing to change it? And as you know, I'm a big advocate for hypnotherapy and meditations as they work with the subconscious mind. There's also some other processes. It's nothing to be scary, although I know when I first heard of it, I thought, I don't want anyone messing with my brain. But actually I realised that no one actually can do that, because you can only accept things that you really want to accept. So in summary, using food as a treat for comfort on an odd day is perfectly healthy. We've all done that. However, once you understand the connection between food and emotions, it's really going to support you to learn better coping mechanisms during those tough days. So it's not saying don't go and have a chocolate bar, a sugary cake, a creamy tub of ice cream, or whatever it is that you go to. But it's saying realise and notice that the emotions still need to be dealt with, and it's not a long-term fix. And everything we eat can actually also impact our emotions. The mind and body is not separate at all. It's one unit. So they completely interlink. Nutrient-rich food will encourage the neocortex brain to function healthily. So innately you will stop turning to food as a source of comfort. By understanding and listening to your inner soul, you're able to uncover the feelings you need to address and learn how to feel satisfied emotionally. While this may be a scary challenge to address your fears, with the practice you will learn to become fully in tune with your mind and body, creating a happy, healthier you. From my heart to yours, thank you so much for listening. It's been a real pleasure to be with you today, and I can't wait for you to join me in the next episode. Take care. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Emotions and Eating with Nicola Beer. To book your free eating strategy session with Nicola, get the free eating support audio or donate. If you have enjoyed the show and want to help keep the show flowing, visit www.nicolabeer.com, where you can also find out more about her new system that has helped hundreds of men and women to change their relationship with food and their body, so they experience more peace and love in their life. We wish you an amazing love-filled day ahead.